Hello everybody and welcome back. On today's episode of Heroes of the Storm, we're going to be playing some newly changed ETC. Things are going to get weird, I promise. But if you're at all interested, feel free to like, comment, subscribe your heart out, and let's get into the game. Today's team comps are ETC, Phoenix, Zul, Thrall, oh my god I forgot the button, Tyrande versus Deckard, Garrosh, Varian, Deathwing, and Zul'Jin. Almost said Zul twice. So ETC's big changes this go round. We're not geared at nerfing or buffing him, even though I think they buffed him astronomically with this patch. But the dev comments were essentially just to get him some new fun toys. He's been operating for the longest time as a very, very strong, reliable pick. His win rate's always pretty good, and he's always going to fit in 99% of situations. So, what they decided to do was change some of his, boring, unpickable challenge. Now, they may have gone a little bit heavy-handed, because I think, with some of the things that I've heard you can do, and some of the things that I've seen you can do with the character now, he's going to just shred. There's no other word for it. He's going to crush people. He's going to crush entire teams, and they're really not going to have much answer to it. And that's all based on his level 13 talent, his new buffed level 13 talent. So I used to say, never take Encore. Encore used to be unpickable because it was just not as good as Mic Check. Even Face Melt is better than Encore. But what they've done is they've gone and taken this ability and given it a passive. So every time that you hit someone with your W, which is Face Melt, or the amp that is left behind after you hit your W, you're going to get 8% off of your heroic cooldown. So Mosh is on a 120-second cooldown, and taking 8% of that off is right around 10 seconds. Now, if you're at all familiar with ETC, hitting your W is probably the easiest part of the character. It comes kind of easy enough to peel for characters, to engage out of position enemies, all that sort of stuff. It's just a fantastic part of his kit. Super easy. It's just one button, slap it, things happen. Now, that being said, you're going to hit huge numbers of people usually doing this. I think you're still going to take, if you're going to take Encore, you're still going to take loudspeakers. I'm taking Crowd Surfer just because they may have changed that talent as well. I want to try it out. But loudspeakers itself is going to increase the radius of your W, and that's going to make it easier to hit multiple people. I don't know. I think your Encore amp also benefits from the radius increase, but I can't be sure because I haven't really ever used the talent before in my entire life. So, anyway, the bigger the area is, the more people you hit. If you hit, let's say, if you hit 5 people with your just your first W, you've taken 40% of the cooldown off of your ultimate ability completely out. Now, if you hit 5 people again with the amp after you've done your W, this is like perfect scenario vacuum kind of thing, you've taken 80% of the cooldown off of a 120-second cooldown ability. There's a reason that Mosh has such a ridiculously high cooldown, and that is because it's broken. And it stuns people forever, and you can't really get out of it unless there's a really good cleanse, or Unstoppable, or Deathwing, whatever. But having that on potentially as low as a 30-second cooldown is busted. And it just makes the threat of the mosh pit even more ridiculous than it already is. So you see where I'm going. Like, you've given ETC the ability to reduce the cooldown of what is probably the most broken CC ability in the entire game, especially for a tank. I don't think we're going to get him. Nope, he lived there. And Phoenix might just die. Bummer. Okay, well, we didn't trade, so that's nice to know. But, yeah, so, I mean, I think the buffs to Encore were... I like the direction they're going. The talent's now pickable. But I think that they've gone way overboard and made it, like, the only pick. I could be wrong about that. The face mic check is still extremely good, even with its nerf. Having the W cooldown up more often is always going to be the most competitive option, I think. But you're also going to have to come into that situation where, oh, do I want Encore? Do I want more mosh pits? Is this going to be good? So they give you the option to think about the tier now, whereas it used to just be, oh, there's only one pick, maybe two. Now it's, oh, there's two picks, maybe three. But anyway, the other changes that ETC got here are all based mostly on his E and his auto attacks, with a change to Crowd Surfer as well. So, Guitar Hero, what they did with this is reduce the healing that you're going to get from, I think it went from 60 to 50, but the duration of our actual heal from Guitar Solo, the one that's baked in, is now increased by 0.5 seconds for every auto attack that we hit while it's up. So you hit 2 auto attacks, you get an additional second of healing from the ability, and that's pretty nuts. That's 94, no, that's 94 over 4 seconds. So, is that good? I feel like that's not the right number. Oh no, 94 health per second for 4 seconds. Yeah, no, I'm stupid. So anyway, another 94 health. That's what, like, that's about 100 health per second it's up, and you can keep it up for a decently long time. So, the level 1, I think, team-wise, if you're playing competitive, if you're trying to make your team win, you're still going to take Block Party most times. Prog Rock is also a pretty good option if there's a lot of globes on the map that you can rotate to, making you that kind of healer. But the ability can't just be passed over anymore. I think it's very strong in what it does. Ooh, we're looking for it. Deathwing's in the back, so I don't really want to mosh right now. I think I probably should. I think I just should have ripped it right there before I got taunted, and it didn't happen. Which is pretty sad. Pretty sad for me. But it does give me some more time to talk about stuff. Yeah. I mean, anyway, you essentially do a lot of auto attack damage with ETC. He's got one of the higher... he may actually have the highest auto attack damage of any tank. Don't quote me on that. I'm not positive, but I think base attack ETC has the highest, which means he's healing a shitload. He's going to want to hit people with his autos anyway, because, you know, them being so strong and whatnot. Damn, double taunt into Mega Death for Phoenix. Yeah, I think this is still probably the weakest of the tier, but I definitely don't think it's bad. I didn't think it was bad before. I like the buff, but wow, I didn't have big... We should be able to kill these two, right? Yeah, we're fine, we're fine. Everything happened the way it was supposed to. 13 is coming up too, so we're about to hit Mega Tier. I like the buffs though. I really like the buffs. I like kind of focusing ETC on auto attacks because he's the one tank that I think that can do that probably better than most. Because of his mobility, because of his armor, because of the way that, you know, his kit works. Crowd Surfer got changed to allow power slide. So what it used to do is go over terrain, walls, blah blah blah. So that's cool. It gave ETC kind of, you can engage from weird angles. You can come in where the enemy team can't see you. Having that flank option is cool, but that's all it did. And it wasn't ever going to be able to compete with loudspeakers. Speed metal is, you know, whatever. If you want to build speed metal, you can. It works really well with the auto attacks if you're building for that sort of stuff. So loudspeakers is 90% of the time going to be the one that you want. But with this new change to Crowd Surfer, if you don't hit anybody, you're going to get the entire mana cost back, and you are going to get half of the, well, not half the cooldown, almost half the cooldown back. It's 12-second cooldown, and it's going to be reduced by 5 seconds. So 7-second cooldown on your power slide if you don't hit anything is pretty good. It'll give you the option to, you know, just kind of sneak over a wall, hide in a bush, wait for it to come back up, or maybe pop that mosh that no one's expecting because you came over the wall. Oh my god, I'm dead. I'm so dead. Enemy team is on point with the collapse and kill argument, and I'm just kind of decking around as well, trying to figure out these changes. Phoenix is going to die, as well as the temples are up. Buildings are pretty even for the most part. But anyway, I don't think Crowd Surfer is going to be as good as the other two still. I like the direction they want to go with it. Adding stuff to what the ability does is good. You need to give it some more utility to bring it in line with everything else that happens at the tier, but I still think it's the worst of the three. Hammer On is the... this is going to... It's just going to make our auto attacks do more damage. I think it is up from... Let's see... They did change it. It used to be like... I think you would only get a couple attacks after you used your abilities. It was kind of like follow through. I was really trying to get the variant for that tornado, man. Yeah, so it used to function like follow through. You just use abilities or you use your E and you would whack a couple times for some extra damage. But now it is, as long as this ability, your guitar solo, is up, you're going to hit for 30% more damage, which is going to help a lot if you're using Guitar Hero for the healing and increasing the duration on guitar solo, because obviously you can see the synergy there. They're just going to keep each other fueled up for a very long time and healing ETC. Apparently he can solo the boss now as a tank with this build, which seems ridiculous because no other tank can do that. I don't even think Blaze. No, I'm 90%, 99% sure no other tank can kill the boss, but apparently ETC can do it now, which is something we might go into try mode and figure out later. And then I'll put it in the description if I do find out if the build actually does the thing that I want it to do. But that specific synergy of those talents, you can see how they go together and how it would be possible for ETC to do something like that. Yeah, get out of here. So we've got our mosh pit up right now. Basically, you're just going to want to pay attention to the cooldown because I'm probably going to rip it soon. Yep, there it is. That's 3 big Planet Cracker on top of everything else. Can we get him? Can we get him? I'm just reducing the cooldown right now. We went from 120 seconds to 100 with just one push of the W button. I'm pretty confident that my team's going to kill Garrosh here, so I just want to come back. We're down to 70 seconds now. We're down to 60 seconds now.
My magic
nuts. Absolutely fucking insane. We're out of mana, which is fine. I think that mana tension is pretty important for the character, but this is now 45 seconds, and we just use it within the last 30 seconds. Busted. Just busted. Let's see, what else did they change? 16 talents haven't changed. Encore was the only thing that changed at 13. And then 20, what they did was take out Crowd Pleaser's cooldown reduction. Probably because of Encore. So, Crowd Pleaser used to reduce the CDR for Stage Dive per hero that you got hit. So you can get big resets if you could hit a lot of people, and it's going to increase the area. Stage Dive itself slows people for 50% normally, so now it's going to slow them for 80%. Whereas it didn't do that before, it was just giving you cooldown reduction. And it was, I think it does a pretty decent amount of damage. Yeah, 669. That's pretty good. It's a very offensive kind of global utility ability for ETC, but yeah, with the changes to Encore, you could probably have that up even more often than you have Stage Dive up. or sorry, mosh pit. Stage dive is a 75-second cooldown. So with the Encore changes, you could effectively just stage dive all over the place. As long as you're hitting your W's, obviously. And an 80% slow is basically a root at that point. Nobody can move. They can use movement abilities, but they're still kind of fucked if your team is paying attention to them. Yeah. That's going to do it for the changes for ETC. But I think they're all very good changes to kind of breathe life into those dead talents, which are fucking, you know, more than welcome. And the character kind of goes from disruptor tank into, you know, multiple builds. Oh no, he's gonna get away. If I had just ripped the mosh pit right there as he was walking through, his unstoppable would have run out and would have died. But hindsight's 20/20, you know. He still died. That's fine. So it's 4 versus 5 right now. We've got level 20 on the way, and we're just looking to get some more kills, apparently. Oof. Double boofing. We got Mosh Pit back up right now, so we don't really have to worry about landing a billion Encore. Oh, there it is. Huge Planet Cracker, huge Mosh Pit. 2 people dead just from 2 heroic abilities. Perfectly worth it. As I am rooted almost to my death. And the enemy team trying to fight 4 versus 5 on a giant camp. Not realizing that we're real good at our wombo setup, you know. We're actually fantastic at it. One of the things I will say about this this ability is that, or these changes for ETC, is that he kind of eats up mana quite a bit, because you do want to slap your buttons quite a lot. Guitar solo especially, you want up a lot if you're building auto attacks. You're going to be hitting your face melt a lot as well to get the cooldown reduction for your ultimate. A lot of stuff happening, so a lot of blue stuff is going out the window. But as long as you're making good use of it, it's not really that big an issue. 19 to 20 right now, we're getting the temples. It's Sky Temple, so you can imagine how boring everything really is. But this is the most efficient way to play the map, so. I think they're going to be doing the Camp Zul and Deathwing in a face-off in the top lane. Yep, there they are. Just getting some cooldown reduction. I now have my Mosh Pit back. It was just on a 30-second cooldown. Now it's back. Like, tell me that's not fucking broken. Just pure broken.
Your enemies keep
insane. Got to keep with the temple. Zul still trying to de-push the top lane. Enemy team looks pretty focused on the bottom lane here. There are 3 people down there. 3 people? Deathwing might be in the air. We don't necessarily know right now. But we have everything ready for a big wombo mosh laser. Yeah, there we go. Deathwing is currently looking at us, as you can hear his grumbles in the sky. And the enemy team is just running full force towards our Zul as we follow behind them. There's the owl. Is it going to hit anybody? It does hit Zul'jin. Damn, that's a shitload of health. See if we can get close enough. Zul is going to go down. I'm going to get this interrupted, aren't I? Oh no, there's just no one here to really follow up on it. That was the Planet Cracker was up. I'm not real sure why it didn't happen. I need to zoom out. There we go. We got the cooldown reduction for not hitting anybody. Well, that probably could have gone better. I think they're going to get this camp for free. I'm just going to walk over and hit some W's. I didn't hit anybody, actually. Since I don't have the range on the knockback, I didn't get any procs of my cooldown reduction, which is a little bit scary. It's just scary. Wasted abilities are not good in any sense of the word. But if they try to go for boss, I'm 100% positive we can get the cooldown back, and we can engage the laser cow if needed. There we go. Gonna hit him again. We're down to 15 seconds on our ult. Holy shit. Holy impatient. I think just my presence here is going to be enough to scare them away. Yeah, they're not going to continue with the boss. And now the cooldown for Mosh is ready to go. Even with just the 3 of us alive, the enemy team knows that they can just get mashed to pieces. I love it. I love it. And now we just effectively win the game because we're going to get Trade Temple for another temple. Kill the buildings. We have more buildings. It's Sky Temple. I don't know what you want. It's never been exciting to play. There it is. Oh no, I left. Oh man. No, I had the perfect mosh pit. I didn't want Deckard to Lornado me, but I didn't realize I was going to let the other 2 out of the bubble. Not great. But we're down to 75 seconds on the mosh pit from just hitting a couple W's. Really good stuff. Gonna lock him into the root. Now we're almost 30 seconds. Deathwing gonna die. Deathwing gonna die. Deathwing is not gonna die. We can still slide onto the Deckard though. I'm thinking I have the range. I'm just so used to the range at 4 for face melt, and it's not there. So I'm missing W's, which is insanely hard to do. But anyway, that's pretty much going to be game. There's 3 people dead. There's no more temples, but we have all the ability in the world to end the game with all of our damage. Not to mention all the auto damage that ETC is doing. Nuts. Oh no, I missed him by just a fraction. I didn't get the endgame BM. That's sad. Probably not for Zul'jin though. I mean, you want to live. You want to live at the end, right? You don't want to add on an unnecessary death to your stats. 24,000. MVP. Not too high. Kind of on par with Varian. Not so much Garrosh. I don't know. Here's the build again if you need it. This isn't a build. This is just kind of building for the updated talents. But Guitar Hero, Crowd Surfer, Hammer-On, Mosh Pit, Encore, Aggressive Shredding, Tour Bus. These 3 talents at 1, 7, and 16 all synergize incredibly well. So if you're going to take this at 1, I definitely suggest taking the others at 7, 16 as well. Crowd Surfer, I don't think is going to be a pick that you want. You'll probably want Speed Metal here if you're going to take Auto Build. And then Encore is, it's now like a 13 is now a decision tier. So you can take this low if you want it. You can take Encore if you want it. You can take Mic Check if you want it. All 3 serve different purposes but do different things very well. So there you go. Also, Encore is broken. Pick it while it's hot. It has to get nerfed very, very soon. It's too much. Way too much. Yeah. And you can get away with Tour Bus if you want to. I think Tour Bus is going to be much better because of Encore, because of the amount of cooldown reduction that you have on Mosh Pit, keeping this up more. Plus, it's a mobility talent, so it kind of decreases the effectiveness of Blink, because you can't reduce the cooldown of Blink, but you can reduce the cooldown of Tour Bus, which is giving you a second slide. So, put 2 and 2 together. I think this ability is now way better if you're taking Mosh Pit. Death Metal's also there. So go with what you feel. Live your life. I'll see you next time. We're going to be playing mostly updated characters this week. I do want to go over some big changes in the patch. Tyrande got some changes. I'm not good at Tyrande, but I'm going to try to play her. And let's see, who else was it? Chromie got changes. Anubarak got a really tiny change, but I do want to play an Anubarak game focused around beetles and locust. So we're going to see one of those as well. I don't know if Chromie and Tyrande will be this week. We'll find out. I got to dig through the patch notes again, see what's possible, see what I am okay with trying out. But thanks for hanging out, at least for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you there.